All right, welcome back to the Crypto Factor. Welcome back to your favorite cryptopreneurship show. And today I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about something because there's certain things I've noticed, certain things that are happening. And it's affecting all of us. It's affecting you, it's affecting me, it's affecting everybody out there, whether they want to admit it or not. And I wanted to shed some light. I wanted to shed some light about what's going on, what I think is going to happen, how you should react, how to improvise, adapt, and overcome, if that makes sense. And also, tell you that you're not alone. A lot of people are feeling this pain. But out of all the negativity, there is a positivity coming here. There is a positive play coming. And I want to explain, and forgive me because I'm just going to be talking from my heart here. I don't have a script. I don't have bullet points. Not that I ever do. But I didn't really plan. I just said, because I wasn't going to do this video. I really wasn't going to do this live stream. Last week I didn't do the live stream either because A, there was nothing to talk about because the charts basically, they're in a range and we have to see the break, if it's going to break down or up to see where we're going to go from here. And yes, we can talk about probabilities a little bit later in this live stream. But the other reason is no one's really here. And what do I mean by no one's really here, okay? I mean that a lot of people have left crypto, have left live streams, have left. They don't even watch crypto YouTube anymore. And look, I'm not crazy. A lot of people have been talking about this, by the way. But I've noticed this. I've noticed this on my YouTube channel. I've noticed this in my group. People are canceling. I've noticed this in my engagement. I'm noticing this on various platforms I'm in. I'm noticing this a lot. First of all, my group, we have a monthly group, right? We have the factor, the VIP factor. That's a monthly group, right? Where you pay and you have access to me, access to views, you can ask questions in real time, you have AI coaches and so on. It's a pretty cool group. 50% have gone from that group, 50%. They started going down slowly, but then more and more as we headed into the bear market, even though we predicted the bear market. And we're expecting the bear market, but people capitulated. People gave up. And that is important. It's important because you'll see where I'm getting with this or where I'm going with this in just 1 second. So people gave up. We have 50% less people in the group right now as we are speaking. Sponsorships have gone. Sponsorships are not there. They're just not, right? Very few, if any. Okay, and this is around the board. I talk to other YouTubers. I know this for a fact. But me especially, I'm not seeing any sponsorships coming in. Spam is down. There's no spam. I know I'm laughing because it's ironic, but you used to get a lot of these spam comments. I have to sit there and delete all these bots, and I had to delete them one by one. There are none anymore, right? Even the spammers gave up. Even the spammers are giving up, right? The bots are like, fuck this. This is a bear market. We're not going to be here. As I said, the YouTube channel views are down. Engagement is up, which is good, which means the people are sticking around and watching more of the video. But views are down 70, 80% on my channel alone. I'm hearing a lot of, even YouTube, even normal YouTubers down 50%, but crypto YouTubers are feeling it 80, 90%. So some videos I'm only getting a few hundred views. I used to get thousands, at least 10,000 sometimes. Now I'm getting like 400 or 500, which is insane. And a lot of people are just giving up. They're giving up. And when everybody was saying retail will come, and I was saying we are the retail guys. We're going to have mini alt seasons and narrative alt seasons. We're not going to have full-blown alt seasons, maybe towards the end, but even that's going to be a selective alt season. Little did I know we're not going to even have a selective alt season. So basically, at least so far. Now, will we have one when we bounce up for a bear market rally? Maybe, we'll see. But generally speaking, a lot of people are giving up. And it's not just crypto, guys. It's everywhere in the world. There's so much going on right now. I'm not even talking about the regional wars and conflicts here, which is huge. I mean, the way it's playing out, it's not no small thing. I made videos about that. I made 5 extensive videos about that, what's going on, what the real war is on my channel. Check that out after this live stream. And I will be answering your questions in the chat in just 1 second. I just want to throw out my thoughts here because I really want to talk to you because I do think this is one of the most important times for you to pay attention. in recent history when it comes to crypto, also what's going on with the world, but also there is a lot of depression and capitulation, not just in crypto right now. Let me explain. Forget YouTube. YouTube, there's AI slop, whatever. Okay, forget YouTube for a second. People are overwhelmed. Forget the war. Let's talk about the war later if we talk about it. If you want me to talk about it, we'll talk about it in a second in the chat. You can tell me. But that's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about the world is moving so fast, no one can keep up. I don't care if you're young. I don't care if you're old. I don't care. It's moving really fast. And I'm feeling this as well. I cannot keep up. What do I mean by not being able to keep up? You have AI moving so fast, so ridiculously fast, it's insane. You're studying, and you know, I was one of the first to tell you have to get into AI, and I've tried to repurpose my other channel making AI videos, but I don't even have time for it because I'm studying AI all day. And it's like you learn one tool, the next tool comes out, then another tool comes out, and then more comes out, and then you have YouTubers doing these automated videos, and you know, and it's like, you know, creators are feeling it. And yes, you can use AI as a creator, but the younger guy that has more, you know, will learn it and use it better. And you have to learn 10,000 tools. If you're older, I'm 48 years old, right? If you're older, you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to go through this shit again. I don't want to start learning all the ropes again. I don't, like, this is, and you know, I'll study AI, and as soon as you try to master one thing, another thing comes another, and everyone's using everything, and everything, blah, 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 and you're like, what the fuck's going on here? And this is happening in jobs as well. This is going, and if it hasn't, it will. People are losing their jobs to AI, and even the people using AI, there's other people that use AI better, and it's just insane. And when I was talking about this a year ago, I didn't know it's going to happen so fast and move so fast. It's moving exponentially, right? And yes, if you look at the chart, it looks like a bubble. It looks like that euphoria and everything's going crazy. And maybe because of the war, maybe something like this will put a stop to it. Maybe that's a lucky thing. I don't know, because the shit's moving so fast. But people are overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to study next. There's Manus, there's Claude, there's Claudebot, there's you use AI for this, for that. And yes, I've made a couple of apps. I made a couple of websites. And yes, I use AI to do certain things, to write my thoughts and make a blog out of it, or put my video, because I do all my videos live, I don't use scripts. I just throw my video into into ChatGPT, and I've programmed the ChatGPT to be able to take that thought of the video and put it as I would write, which is really, really useful. But we're not just talking about that anymore. We're talking about people indistinguishable from reality being able to talk on YouTube. We're talking about scripts, this, that, and it's a mess. I don't like it. I don't like the non-authentic wording. You look at Twitter, look at X. No one's really engaging. You know why? Because everything's AI underneath it. You see all these replies, everyone's showing up, pretending to know what the fuck they're talking about by using AI, and you can tell the way AI talks, it's just AI answers. I'm not even talking about M dashes. So it's not just in crypto right now. But people are capitulating as a whole. And, you know, it's like it's like you're capitulating from crypto, you're depressed, and you want to get on with your life. But AI and everything's going on, and the wars and this and that, and you just can't get a break. You just cannot get a break. And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit. It's we have no choice. This is what it is. So you have to gather your thoughts. And just like I'm thinking about how I'm going to gather my thoughts in my everyday life, I might tell you a few things about AI and stuff like that in this video. We'll see. But I want to keep it crypto specific, because this is a crypto channel. If you want to follow me on my other channel, you'll find it on the homepage. It's about AI. But a lot of people are giving up on crypto. A lot of people never even returned on crypto. We are the retail. I kept saying that. My subscribers can remember this. And it feels like it's not going to come back. It feels like the world's changing. And it's scary, right? And when I was saying that all these ETFs, this and that, are not good for crypto, people called me a maxi. I'm a semi-maxi, but now you see why. It's controlled in a different way. Things have changed. Now, that said, the good news, if you can call it good news, we are close to capitulation. No, we have not capitulated yet. We are in despair. If you remember that chart, the Wall Street cheat sheet, we're probably in despair. So we probably have one leg lower. Probably after a bear market rally where everybody gets happy and then just goes down and fucks everyone up, and you just see crying and blood everywhere. And this might be amplified with regional wars and global warfare and stuff like that. Right? And for those of you thinking about Bitcoin, oh, why isn't Bitcoin a safe haven? Why isn't Bitcoin... Because it's seen as a risk asset. It's seen as a risk asset for the simple reason that the people who are holding Bitcoin now are not the same people that are holding Bitcoin yesterday. And what I mean by that is now you have futures, you have options, you have institutions. Well, they're traders, long-term traders at best. Right? Yes, the ETF is a bit different because you have to have the underlying asset, but generally speaking, futures, everything, it's Wall Street. So Wall Street sees it as a risk asset. They don't see it as hard, sound money. They don't see it as a safe haven as gold. That's why it's not performing like gold. That's why it's not performing as safe haven. And guess what? It's dragging the rest of the crypto market down with it. Or up with it, depending. Now there's over 34 fucking million tokens everywhere, like meme coins, the shit coins, this coin, that coin. Of course, you're not going to get a full-blown alt season, if any. If you do, you're going to get a selective alt season. You're going to see mini alt seasons, like I've been calling for the last 2 years. That's what we got. And yes, we got the final alt season wrong. We didn't get a full-blown selective alt season where I was looking at 3 narratives. Those 3 narratives are probably going to be the narratives of the next bull market. Don't worry. But the question is, but this is what I want to talk about. Everything feels like shit. Everything feels like it's not going to move. There's a little bit of hope left, and that's going to capitulate. And just when you think it's all over, just when you think it's all gone to shit and there's no way to recover from this, that's probably when we're going to see a bottom. Now you might say, Paul, why are you so sure it's going to be a bottom? Why will crypto go up again if any reason? Why would crypto go up? This has felt, that has felt, this has felt. Give me one good reason. I'll give you one good reason. Greed. All markets. See, at times like this, you have to go back to the fundamentals. You have to go back. I'm not talking about fundamental analysis. I'm talking about core principles of economics. You just have to go back to the core, to the bare-boned truth. And that is what I've always been saying. Markets run on fear and greed. Supply and demand. But fear and greed. That's what they run on. That's why we have pumps. That's why we have dumps. That's why we have price discovery. And as long as there's fear and greed, Bitcoin will pump again, certain altcoins will pump again, people will gamble again. And yes, most people gamble. And that's why you see parabolic rises and parabolic pullbacks, is because most people are gambling, and that's okay. We're investing, trading ourselves, and we're taking advantage of this with technical analysis, because what is technical analysis? Technical analysis are basically reading market sentiment. That's why you see certain moves in technical analysis before you see it on the news. As soon as there's some sort of breakout or whatever, you're thinking that was a major resistance. Why is it breaking out? Some news is probably happening behind the scenes we haven't heard about yet. You always hear the news later. So technical analysis is kind of like your only chance to see the future. And I've kept on saying this, is news for the masses, news for the classes. We only get the news for the masses. So our best bet is to look at the charts. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. So where am I getting at? I'm getting at, I know shit is feeling bad right now. I really do. I get it. I really do get a lot of people saying, Paul, what do you mean? You made so much money from this. You made so much money for that. You were traveling the world. There's 5-star hotel. Look, I feel it too. I'm not a multi-millionaire. I'm not, right? I have a lot of expenses. I went through cancer 3 times. I have a lot of loose ends. I'm Greek, so I can't save money for shit, right? Seriously. I'm very good at making money. I'm not very good at keeping money, right? So I'm feeling it too. I had to cancel most trips this year. I had to cancel Germany, cancel Sweden. I had to cancel Poland. I didn't go to Poland. I went to Romania. People are probably, oh, woe is you can't go on a couple of trips. Yeah, but those trips bring me business. Those trips, I invest in myself, I network, and I show that I'm a real person, and that's how I get out there. I do my public speaking, I get my branding going. Well, it's hard this year. I'm only going to do 3 trips, if that. I've already done Romania. I'm going to do Turkey for Istanbul Blockchain Week. And Dubai, hopefully, at the end of the year, when things get better. And I'm not saying it's going to end. I'm not saying what's going to happen right now is going to end. I'd go now. If Token 2049 was still on, I'd be there right now. Because I know a lot of people will be scared to go there, and if you go there, you actually get business done. As a matter of fact, great time to invest in Dubai. If not right now, a little bit more when everyone's scared. It's going to give a lot of opportunities. People are going to want people to work there. People are scared to go there. Guess what? You can get a job there, make a shitload of money because people are desperate. There's a lot of supply and a lot of demand and a little bit of supply. This is exactly what happened in crypto in 2017. There was massive demand for CMOs, marketing, this, that, but little supply because everybody's like, crypto. I'm not going to move to crypto, leave my good paying job that gives me 100, 200K a year. I went into crypto. I went as a CMO. I saw the opportunity right there, and I got into it. I went all in on the trend. And I know I have to do the same thing with AI. The problem is AI is moving too fucking fast. I can't keep up, right? So, and look, I'm 48 years old. I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. I don't want to do all this shit from the beginning again. You know, I don't, like, it's at some point you get tired. But we have no choice because we're men. We have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And that's what we do. So step back from crypto a second. Step back from AI. Step back from what's going on with the wars. And think of it like this. Shit will either get a lot better or a lot worse. Usually, things are not as bad as they're made out to be. Something always changes. So for the war, I think there's going to be a solution at some point. Will the war end tomorrow? No, it'll probably end in 2-3 years, but the biggest part of it will be soon. Or we'll go into World War III and it doesn't fucking matter, right? It doesn't really matter. Like, go get pharmaceuticals because that's what you're going to need and shit like that. So if that happens, you really don't have to worry about that much because everyone's in the same boat over there. You look survival, you don't look at making money. But if this becomes a war or close to World War III, there'll be a lot of opportunities. And I know this sounds really crazy, but this is how I'm thinking right now. And you need cash. Obviously, you want gold, you want Bitcoin to protect yourself, whatever is a hedge, but you need cash to be able to buy the dip, you need cash to be able to invest, and unfortunately, we weren't as aggressive taking profits. But believe me, as soon as this is over and things start looking better, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities. First of all the places in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, all these places, they're going to need rebuilders. They're going to need builders. They're going to need staff. They're going to need CEOs, CMOs, ones that left and want to come back because they're too shitless. They're too scared to go back, right? I get that. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities there. There's going to be a lot of opportunities elsewhere as well because of AI. And pivoting into AI is crucial right now. If you don't, you're completely screwed. And you know what? Maybe I won't be able to do it as effectively as I did crypto. Maybe, the years passed and, all the radiation and shit that got into my brain or whatever they put in me might not allow me to be as smart and as effective as I used to be when I got into crypto, which was after cancer, but not after 3 times. But look, at least I know that I need to somehow get in there, and this is going to get to crypto in just 1 second. Bear with me here. We're going to get into crypto just 1 second because it's very relatable, all right? I know that I have to go to basics. In other words, just choose one thing to learn. Is it ChatGPT? And I'm not talking about search. I'm talking about learning how to make actual GPTs like I'm doing and so on. Might be ChatGPT. Become a power user of ChatGPT. Maybe one more program in AI, like an agent. How to use an AI agent so it can go do shit for you. Maybe customer acquisition if you have a business, which I'm trying to set up for DigiFire Marketing, for example, right now as we speak. Right? My YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, I'm going to start talking about AI. Right? I'm going to try and do what I did here on the Crypto Factor on that YouTube channel. Even though it's old, it's kind of hard because it's going to be very hard to revive that channel, but I'm going to give it my best shot, okay? But the whole thing is I'm overwhelmed because I'm trying to do everything. I'm doing AI, ChatGPT, Claude, this, that, AI agents, fucking vibe coding, prompt engineering, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like I'm learning one thing, and I see this other thing, and I see another thing, and I see another thing, and it reminds me of crypto. It reminds me of crypto. This coin, that altcoin, meme coins, 402, this, blah, blah, blah. Guys, shit's hitting the fan right now. At some point, the shit will land wherever it's gonna land. All you need to do is concentrate on the basics. Bitcoin, couple of major narratives, and that's it. And wait to get in. And we'll talk about the range to get in just 1 second, but wait to get in and just keep it simple. People are going to capitulate. They haven't capitulated now. They are pre-capitulation. And there might be some hope, maybe there's some news of peace and everything goes up and then boom, everything goes down all of a sudden. We go into a recession, it doesn't matter. You take advantage, it goes up, you take profits as it's going up. Then when it comes down, you buy. If it keeps on going up, it's okay. You took profits, you still have some position. That's what I do every single time. That's what you should do right now. That's the whole thesis. Take a step back and understand that the biggest opportunities are being born right now. Give me 1 second. There's a hair, a dog hair, right behind the camera. Not that it was bothering anyone or would do anything, but it just pisses me off because my eye just kept on going there. I want to concentrate on the camera. Okay. Like, dog hair up there. How the fuck did dog hair get up there? I don't know. It just got out there. All right. So my question, so this is the thing, I know shit's fucked up, right? I really know. I know people are feeling it. And I know this might escalate and get a lot worse. But the biggest opportunities will come. And all you have to do is take 1 day at a time and just go to basics. I'm hearing people talking about meme coins, that coin. Oh, crypto's never coming. Just stick to Bitcoin, maybe Solana, a couple more coins, maybe hype. Perpetual dexes. Keep in mind X402 for the next, and then just wait. Just wait it for come to you. It will pass. Everything goes in cycles. Whether it's the war, whether it's stocks, whether it's crypto, it goes in cycles. All you have to do is understand this. And for the question is, will Bitcoin come back? Will crypto come back? Yes. What makes you so sure? Because of fear and greed, especially greed. We're in the fear phase. When people want to make money, they always do, and they will. Even if it goes down and there's no liquidity, it just means it's going to go up higher, that's all. Oh, but Paul, the mining, everyone's using their graphics cards everyone's using their systems for AI now, and Bitcoin's going to die. That's all bullshit. Bitcoin will just, in about a week or two, will recalculate its thing, and it'll keep on working, giving with less, with the hash rate differences. There's no problem. There really isn't, right? But what I'm trying to tell you is, yes, the YouTube views are down, engagement is down. The world is going crazy right now. We could talk about that in a second. Crypto is going to shit. Stocks are, we don't know. Like we have not capitulated. We're right there, right where the fear and depression is. We need one more down to go to capitulate. So everyone, there's still some. I bet you there's some bulls in the chat right now. I bet you there is, and that's fine, as long as you have a backup plan, because shit can go up. We bought at 62K. We bought at 62K. Went up to 74. I'm like, watch that resistance. We have to break that resistance or take profits. I did not take profits. It didn't break. Are we coming back down? Are we going to go under 62, under 60? Maybe. Where are we going to get to? Probably around the 40, 50K level. Let me show you the charts real quick. We'll go back to the war and everything else we want to talk about. I'll look at the chat and answer all the questions in 1 second. Let's look at the charts real quick. Great, my button is not working. Why doesn't it work? Because this has to move up here. Right? There you go. All right. So this is the Bitcoin chart. We're still in the range. By the way, what you're seeing, these drawings, were from my last video. I was talking about where we can go down to. I made the last video called When Bitcoin Bottom, or When Will the Bitcoin Bottom Be? It's my last video. You can watch it. You can see what I talk about the charts. I don't want to go into too many details in this video. But look, we're right here. We're forming resistance over here. Right? This line here is what, 74,000, which this is where I told you the structure breaks at 74,000. And all the way down to 60K almost, right? We're doing the same thing what we did here. See this? And we're probably going to do the same thing here. But I believe maybe if that breaks, we can go down lower. And the first level I'm looking at, if $60,000 breaks, we're looking at this range here and this range right here, which is essentially 38,000 to 48,000. Let's call it 50K psychological, 40K psychological. This corresponds to the breakout of the cup and handle, which we called and got in. And we're expecting it, so we actually got in earlier, but we're expecting this as a second run. We actually did that. Look, there's the cup, there's the handle. I said buy more aggressively. We came up. This turned out to be a massive bull flag, which we expected, then we went up to the races. And we're saying the same shit now, but on the way down. This could very well hold in this range over here. Remember, I've been telling you, Bitcoin is not how much it drops. The bear market is not Bitcoin will fall so much. It's how long it's going to stay down there that's the killer. We can go sideways for a year. All right? I believe we're going to pick up after the summer, but it doesn't matter. I think we're going to go sideways for a year. You can go sideways for a year. And if we go lower, fine, it will probably go to the lip of this cup. There's the lip of this cup. And there's the true lip. I just made that term up. It's basically you take this you take out the bottom of this handle, you extend it back, and then also the non-wick handle over here. And that's how I got this. Okay, very simple shit. I'm not overcomplicating it. If I'm off a few thousand here and there, who gives a shit, right? So that's what we're looking at right now. So we're going to see what plays out. Are we going to have one more flush down? Possibly. Are we going to go up from here, go sideways, then go up? Also possibly. Who cares? That's why we bought 62K with 1/3 of our profits, and we got another 1/3 of our profits for the 50K, another 130 for our 40K level. And we can always reevaluate when we go down there. Simple shit, guys. This is how you play bear markets. Unless you're a trader and you're playing the range like a day trader, then you're sitting on your hands and waiting, and you're looking at key structure levels to get in. Either you go down to a key structure level, and you buy there, or you go up and you break structure on the upside, previous structure, and you buy there, and you make that support, and that's your exit if it goes down again. That's essentially it. That's how you play bear markets. Altcoins, they're waiting permission from Bitcoin. Right? They're waiting for permission from Bitcoin. Yeah, last week we talked about Tau. Tau did very well in the week. We also talked about Hype, did very well. CC, I've been talking about this for a while. But you can see that it's waiting for permission from Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up a little, these ones fly. Bitcoin goes down a little, everything goes down. So I have a very low amount in altcoins right now. Most of my positions are in Bitcoin. Did I just show my screen or did I not push the button? Doesn't matter, you get the point. So there you go. That's what I'm looking at. Now, I want to look at the chat and answer your questions because, again, I wasn't going to go live. I really wasn't going to go live. I didn't see the point. I'm like, there's no people here. No one's watching the video. No one's sharing the video. You're going to be talking to yourself like I was last week, the last time I went live because I didn't go last week. And then I thought to myself, Paul, you have to. You have to for the people that do watch you. And I'm sort of thinking, what am I going to talk about? The charts again? They know the charts. We're in the fucking range. They're like, what am I going to keep on telling them we're in a range and tell them the same thing over and over? Well, first of all, yes, I just did. I could do it like that, which was fast. But maybe I should talk a little bit about what's going on, how I see things, and tell you that you're not alone. We're all feeling it. We're all feeling it. And the good thing is that we're almost a capitulation. And when you do really, really, really feel it, that's probably the bottom. So we are close to a bottom. Besides, we're usually close to a bottom after a triple death cross anyway. It's usually marks close to a bottom. And I believe the bottom will be in this year, probably around the summertime, maybe around even before that, or a little bit after that, right? So let's see what happens. Let's see your questions here, and let's see if we can answer some of these. So Chuck, my man, is drinking his mushroom coffee, which I love it when I hear. I don't know why I get this natural sensation of calm when I hear you say that. I think I want to try mushroom coffee. B-Germ, good morning, Paul. I'm heading to the gym. Just wanted to see if I'm interpreting what's going on. Yeah, you could check it out. I hope you're still listening while you're working out, man. The title is World Class Hook, Paul. Congrats. Well, honestly, the title was just sincere at this point. It was just sincere. But thank you. Cheers from Canada. What's up, Canada? Harley says, I understand I was thinking of leaving also. I joined crypto January 2025, nothing but down. Yeah, well, you're the lucky one. And I'll tell you why you're lucky. You're lucky because you joined nothing down, so you didn't put in more money, because a lot of people that went before that it was going up, they were putting more and more money, didn't take profits. I was warning against that, by the way. And then it started going down, so they lost a lot more than you. So I know that sounds funny, but if you got in 2025, you're doing very well. You got in at a good time. It's actually one of the best times because it humbles you and it teaches you, and it lets you calculate how much you can actually invest and lose. You're actually quite lucky. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Archidia, my man, says by the way, Archidia means balls in Greek, and I just said it like it's nothing. They thought crypto was done during COVID crash too. Well, I was buying during then, and we might have a COVID-like situation here. So I have to give credit where credit is due. I first heard this from Ran, from Crypto Banter, talking about an energy crisis and how it's a new lockdown, working from home and so on. And now I hear a lot more people talking about it, which is interesting. I'm not going by the conspiracy side of it. I think it's a legit worry. There's a lot of shit. Even more than energy, there's fertilizer. Like people don't really see this, but natural gas is also the actual base of fertilizer, which contributes to the world, food supply chain. So you have energy that can't get the food there anyway, but then you have gas, which contributes to this fermentation, and most of it's in fucking Ukraine. Oh, we could probably gonna have a crisis. And if you remember 2 years ago or last year, I was saying we're gonna have a big crisis in 2026. I was saying it. And I was like, look, it's going to be a black swan event. I don't know what it's going to be, but we're probably going to have some sort of big war. And I don't think America's going to do well for their debt. And I think partly these wars are happening because of that. Like, I'm not saying they don't happen for other reasons. Don't get me wrong. But I think there's a power play. There's like 5 wars going on. And I don't mean countries against countries. I mean, there's the countries against countries part. That's one war, right? You got America with Israel, with Iran and so on, right? Now you got the Houthis in there. Anyway, you have all the regional wars. Then you have the power war, the war of power. And that's where you have the asset managers, BlackRock, Vanguard, and so on, the banks with their CBDCs and so on, the technocrats, which don't care whoever wins, they just want to supply the tech, and the sovereign powers. And they're all fighting for the new world order, for the new money, for who's going to control it, right? America is looking weak. People are like, let's replace the dollar. There's the other war with BRICS in the US, by the way, because America doesn't want to let nothing happen to the dollar, and you have BRICS, so that's another war right there. You have a shitload of wars going on, and it's like 5D, 6D chess right now. Okay? And by the way, this may be your last chance to get rich. I have a video, I have it in the link in the description down below. I have a video that's talking about how this might be your last crypto cycle to stay rich, or the next 5 years to get rich. Otherwise, you're probably gonna stay at the place you are now. So if you're mid-class, you probably say mid-class or poor. And that's why I'm really stressed out, by the way. Like, I didn't expect this to happen so fast. Even though 2 years ago, we were talking about this. I was talking about this with Craig Wright, imagine. So this is something that is happening very fast, and AI is expediting everything. And it's insane. I'm still here, Slovenia. Congrats to Slovenia. Nice, man. Slovenia, beautiful country. Terry says, parasitic class trying to push their great reset. That's another war. Yeah, I'm good, man. Terry. Very true. That's another war that's going on, one of the 5 wars. We talked about that as well. Colizo Colonens. I probably butchered your name. I'm really sorry. Right. What's the point leaving the market? Inflation will keep eating your money in saving accounts, which is what's happening. Here's the other thing. You have to understand though. Bitcoin, everyone's like it only fell 50%, but it's more like 60, 70% down right now. That's why I feel like we're close to a bottom and we might have the 85% pullback, the normal 85%, but no one's going to see it. Everyone's going to not realize this because the dollar is a lot weaker to prior bull markets. So that 50% drop is being held up because of the dollar being lower. I don't know if that makes sense. And I talked about it in my last video and in the previous of the last video, by the way. But we have, it looks like it's holding up, but it's actually gone down more. It's just that the dollar's gone down even more, and that's why the Bitcoin is looking stronger, if that makes sense. So it's kind of some food for thought. And I talked about that in my video. Look, I put out a series of videos I recommend everybody watching. Let me just show you real quick, because I do feel these videos are so important. I actually made a playlist for them. So look, you have the Crypto Factor channel over here. When bottom, this is a video right here. When will Bitcoin bottom? You can watch this video right here. But look, you have the hidden war. This is the hidden war for the future of money. Watch this video. The hidden war for this is a documentary style video. Charts lie. This is what the charts are lying to you about Bitcoin. This is where I'm saying that Bitcoin actually fell more than it actually meets the eye. End of fiat, the world reserve currency is changing, and crypto, no, you watch this one, and definitely watch this one, 5 years left. Look, you have 5 years left to get rich in crypto. This is a very important video right here. These are so important, I actually put them in playlists. So if you go to playlist right here, you'll see it right here, Macro, Bitcoin, and Global Power. Right here, this is its own playlist, because it's an extremely important playlist. So make sure you watch that. Chuck says, I'm finishing up a book for mainly seniors about having fun with AI. It may be obsolete before I finish it. Things are moving fast, Chuck, but I get it, man. It's moving very, very fast. How old I am? 48. I'm 48 years old. Paul, I love you, bro. Wood Green in house. Wood Green in the house. Wood Green, my man. Long time. Yeah. Wood Green. Shit, I haven't been there for so many years, man. Like 20-something, maybe 30 years. Hello from California. Damn, I didn't get notified. Well, YouTube being a little smart. Make sure you hit make sure you're still subscribed down below, because YouTube, sometimes you might find yourself not subscribed or not hit the bell notification button. If you haven't subscribed, I would really, really, really appreciate you do. You don't have to, but I would appreciate you do. Hi, Paul. Hope this finds you well. What's your channel name? Oh, the Paul Democritou. Let me show you real quick. So if you come to my Crypto Factor channel here and go to the home page, and you just scroll down, you'll see it right here. This Paul Talks AI, I'm probably not going to run with this. I'm probably going to run everything on this until I find this one being more relevant. So I'm probably going to go with this Paul Democritou one. My name, it's got about 6,000 subscribers. It's not getting a lot of views because these subscribers are from business, sales, marketing, and so on. But if you want to talk business, sales, marketing, and AI, this is the channel for you. This one, I have to take it down for a while because I'm not sure I'm going to be pushing it. But this one is important right here. So it's just my name, Paul Democritou. If you click it, this is it. And I changed the banner recently. I put practical AI for entrepreneurs and creators. Before it was business, sales, and marketing, right? So here are the AI videos. I'm going to put up more. And then if you want sales and entrepreneurship and interviews down here and so on, this is the first channel, one of the channels I had. I used to talk about crypto here, but I took out down all the crypto videos because I put it on this channel that you're watching right now. It was back when we were cracking down on crypto. Hey, Paul, I hope you're doing great. So news does affect Bitcoin, and it's the right time to buy. Okay, so there's news for the masses, news for the classes. News can only affect crypto in the short term. It doesn't affect, and yes, but okay, let me try and explain this. News does not affect crypto long term or markets or anything, okay? There's news for the masses and news for the classes. We only get the news for the masses. So by the time you hear the news, it's either trying to justify something that already happened. Oh, this happened, let's go see the news, what happened? So it's skewed, you don't know. or the big boys have already made their move before that anyway. So when a resistance breaks and you go down, you're like, shit, I gotta sell because now it became resistance, because we broke support, sorry, it became resistance. Then you see the drop, then you hear people saying, oh, Trump said this, or Trump's son did this move, whatever. So your only chance to predict it is through TA. Now news, if it's a world war, obviously, right, will have an effect. But the move before the war already happened. The big move, you think that people up at the top didn't know this shit will happen? If you're trading on news, you're trading second hand. If you were looking at the chart, you go out 117K like I did, and then they get 112 and then 100K. And you're away, and then you were saying, let's see if 74K breaks, if that, you know what I mean? And that gives you better levels. They all sold. Remember, as soon as we broke $117,000, we're like, okay, we have to take profits, and then boom, all the way down to 100K. Then it went to 112K, and a little bit higher than that. I'm like, hey, look, if 112K breaks, it's going to go, boom, it went down. They made the moves. They shorted, or they sold before you got the news. Then the news came out. Does that make sense? There's no point in looking at news in that sense. Yes, macro matters, obviously. But if you're talking about commercial news, no, I don't look at it. I don't care. And is it the right time to buy, or should we wait? So I just gave you some levels to look at. If you haven't bought, you want to get close to 60K. But if 60K breaks and gets resistance, you're waiting for the 40K level. In a nutshell. Is your area in an energy crisis, or is it mostly Asia? So the energy crisis... Oh, wait, I missed the question. Hey, Paul, I hope you've been doing great. Oh, no, I already didn't miss it. Okay. So the energy crisis, there's more than an energy crisis coming. The energy crisis is not... Let me explain something, what I'm seeing happening right here, because this is important, okay? There's an energy crisis affecting everybody. It's just that they're hiding it and not talking about it so they don't spread panic, or at least not as much. So we're going to have energy lockdowns anyway. The gas is already almost doubled, okay? It's a lot more already, okay? Now, how long will this gas last before they start shutting down petrol stations and so on? I don't think, if this situation finishes in a few weeks, maybe a month tops, we're not going to have gas. Or at least not being able to use a lot. And that's what I mean by lockdown. I mean that they're going to be like, you're going to be restricted. Okay? Save gas and shit like that. The second crisis is, whatever, you have to understand that petrol, oil, and all this shit, and gas, natural gas. When I say gas, I mean I confuse it with petrol and gas sometimes. My English Tourette's with my American, it's just crazy, okay? But I think you understand what I'm saying here. Petrol and oil is used in soap. It's used in a whole bunch of shit. So if you're going to have a problem with that, you're going to have a problem with products as well. But you're also going to have a problem with supply chain. So there's going to be food problems and food shortages as well. And also with goods coming in and out of the country. So also medicine and shit like that. So if you're a doomer or gloomer, which I'm not, but I do believe in getting prepared, what you want to be stocking up with is not just gold and Bitcoin or whatever and cash to be able to buy shit and get around. No. Or petrol even. Or toilet paper. It's actually pharmaceuticals. Like, I advise everyone, if somebody asks me right now, Paul, what should I put in like storage for if this shit really blows up for the next few months? First of all, you don't want to have food for like a year. That's like ridiculous. You want to have food for about a month tops, because you're still going to be able to buy food, maybe just not the food you want, but you want to have some on the side just in case there's a complete problem at some interval problems. And then people are going to be able to go get food, obviously, and then you're going to go get food, but you're not going to touch that food and so on. So you're going to manage food. You're going to manage food. If you have a beach house like I do, you're going to have stock there. I do. You go fishing, shit like that, okay? Which... to be honest with you, I'd love to go fishing. But anyway, regardless. That's number one. And number two is not guns and gold and shit like that. Number two, or even number one, is pharmaceuticals. Because one thing you won't be able to find is aspirin, is your what's the word I'm looking for? Antibiotics. If you have certain problems that you have to keep on taking medicine, make sure you get them. For example, I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. I'm going to stock up on testosterone, pay 18 euros a vial. I need about 30 vials to be good for a few months. I'm going to pay a small fortune, well, not small, a shitload of money to have testosterone on the side. Okay? Extra. Maybe I do 10 vials. Extra. Right? So 180 euros just to be sure, just in case there's a shortage and so on. And then you can also manage, you can take less testosterone, you can lower the dose when the time comes and so on. So that's okay. But pharmaceuticals, because not only will pharmaceuticals save you, but you might need it if you have a fever or whatever, but no one's going to let their kid die of a fever. They'll pay anything for an aspirin. So aspirin and pharmaceuticals can actually become barter currency, believe it or not, right? More than Bitcoin. Because what are you going to do with Bitcoin if you can't buy pharmaceuticals, right? You're going to pay with Bitcoin? Well, actually, you could probably buy pharmaceuticals with Bitcoin, but having the pharmaceuticals is probably better. So make sure you have a stock on that for like a couple of months, or a month anyway. Couple of weeks, something. So you're not stressed in case you go to get your medicine and they don't have it 1 week. That used to happen when shit was fine here in Greece. Imagine when it's not fine, right? So you want to stock up on shit like that and just be ready. And you know what I usually do? I'm going to do what I did with COVID. So I stocked up on food, pharmaceuticals, and so on. And when the shit blew over, you just give everything to the poor. Or you use it. 40K would be shocking but not impossible. I don't think it's shocking at all. 40K, if you go down 85%, it's a lot more than 40K. If you go down around 70% from all-time highs, that's around 40K. But I think because of the dollar down lower, and I don't know if it goes up now, but because the dollar is lower, I think that 40K is more like an 80% drop, if that makes sense. Right? I know it sounds nuts, but I explained it in that video I showed you earlier. Tariff cap, says Henry. Also right, says, I don't know what to say to that. Like, I don't know if that's a question or a statement. AI is new, so they're teaching you how to use it. Then they emerges, they will tell you, take away the basics and control how to use it. Yeah, probably. What do you think of the CV? I just talked about altcoins before. There's no sleeping giants and shit. Just stick to the basics. I don't even know what that coin is right now. Do you think Solana is a good buy? Do you think Solana is a good buy than Solana? I think Solana is good, but wait for a drop. If you already have some, wait for a drop. If you don't have some, find some good positions. But it's going to take, we can stay down here for a while. So, you know, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Just be careful because there's nothing I can tell you right now. We're in a range. You're not doing anything. I read in Japan they are hoarding toilet paper. Maybe we should invest and hoard it too. That's how bubbles form. People buy toilet paper. You hear about it in Japan and other people do it and you remember what happened and then you all start hoarding toilet paper. I use baby wipes. So I never bought toilet paper because I use baby wipes anyway. Because I have a very sensitive behind. But in Dubai and shit, like, they don't have a problem. They have that hose thing anyway. Which I was very tempted to put one in my bathroom. I think those are amazing. Have you talked to... No, I haven't talked to the BitBoy, man. He disappeared. He has disappeared. The really sad thing is that BitBoy, the name, it was supposed to be like a comic. And now with AI, he could do that. He could make a channel with the AI controlling his character, the BitBoy, and BitBoy could be giving presentations and all he'd have to do is prompt it out. I was actually looking into that for another channel. You have to use a few tools. There's like 3 or 4 tools you need to use. It's not that hard to do, but it feels overwhelming when you're doing a whole bunch of other shit. But like, it's a shame because I think he could really bounce back with that. But no, I haven't talked to him. I don't know what happened to him, man. I will rewatch the beginning after I do my walk after the gym. Okay, awesome. Henry says, how does the market move so fast after anything that happens or a Trump stupid tweet that much? Because what happens is they sold. So for example, they sold into resistance, and then the news comes out and the first panickers buy, and because it's so thin, because everyone's already sold, it just goes down like crazy. Does that make sense? That's one reason. And there's a few more reasons. Also cascading effects. So you have, like, for example, people stop losses, they get triggered and it just sells, and they have to buy. Sell. And they get, that's what liquidations are. Right? Because you're on leverage. This is a leveraged market. And if you look at my old post, I was saying altcoins are not going to make they're not going to have an alt season. We're going to have mini alt seasons because most of this is run on leverage, and there's too many coins out there, and that's why you see those massive cascading things. Aishi Teru says, just remember Bitcoin in all-time highs from 2021 to 2025 only do 2x. This is worse than the average stock. Yeah, but like you can't count it like that. That's a bullshit way of counting it. Like you can't choose the years to fit your narrative. So we got in last bear market, which is now is a bear market, but when we were coming out of a bear market, we caught the bottom perfectly months before we got there, right? And I was saying the bottom was 15.6K, and that was the bottom of the bear market, 15.6K. So 15.6K to 126,000. And I was saying it's going to be a Bitcoin narrative run, mostly. And that's what we got. So it didn't perform worse than stocks. It performed a 10x. Well, not a 10x, 8x, whatever that is. What tools do you use for the comic book videos? Well, you can use a couple of videos. I know people can make... You can use 20-minute videos, man. 20-minute videos. You can make a character, load it up. I can't talk about it on this channel. Maybe I'll do it on the other channel. I'll do it first, and then I'll talk about it, because I will. Not a comic, but something like that. Or at least I plan to. Hopefully I'm not going to be too overwhelmed and be able to do it. But yeah. Let's see. Do I have any more questions here? Let me drink some. Good stuff. I love this. Green mocktail. I should be sponsored by these guys. Do you think ETH I2 will dead after Vitalik? I don't know what you're talking about. I know ETH, and I think a lot of shit's going to be built on ETH. First of all, it's the base layer for X402 narrative, and X402 is going to be one of the main narratives for the next bull market. So things like ETH, Link, they're not going anywhere. They might do actually very well. Oh, layer 2. I'm sorry. Look, you have Ethereum. Layer 2s are all over Ethereum. I don't understand your question. Will layer 2s be dead? No, but a lot will die because they will become irrelevant, but there'll be new layer 2s that will be relevant, if that makes sense. So it's going to take a long time for Ethereum to do that shit, man. So layer 2s will always be built. You can't stop them, right? Well, you can, but you can't really stop them. And there will always be something that will give some sort of value for a period of time, or should I say perceived value for a period of time. So they're not all going to die. You're going to have layer 2s, but most of them are going to be relevant. And that's why I keep saying the best time to buy when it comes to altcoins is not in the bear market, it's as you're coming out of a bear market, so you can see the narrative, see what's going on, because a lot of shit gets obsolete. A lot of shit gets hacked, bankrupt, and so on. But a lot of utility gets obsolete. So what makes sense now doesn't make sense tomorrow, if that makes sense. Right? So yeah, that's what I want to talk about. This is what I wanted to talk to you about today. I know it feels like shit, but that's ultimately a good thing because we're getting to a bottom. Yes, shit might be a little bit worse than other times. A lot of shit's going on around the world, but we'll overcome this, or it will either get a lot worse or a lot better. Either way, we'll know what to do. If it gets a lot worse, great. We'll deal with it when the time comes. Buy the dip if there is a dip, if it's not Third World War III, and then we'll take it from there. If it gets better, well, then it gets better. Either way, you want to be, we're going to have another run, in my opinion, at least with the big boys. So no, crypto is not ending. My biggest bag was, and always will be Bitcoin for your answer right there, because I'm not an idiot, and that's why I protected myself with it. Love you all. Thank you very much. Make sure you watch the videos in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.